My name is Bob. Though I'm still in my 20s, I've let out sighs so deep it felt like life's end might be near. If life had ranks, I'd say I'm currently living the very bottom of it. That's how low I was in life. Everyone has their low moments, right? But can you say that to a miserable man who got cheated on and dumped by his wife in their 5th year of marriage? I love my wife. I've known her since high school, including the time we dated. We've been together for over 10 years. She was beautiful, kind, although she could be sharp with her words at times. But she supported the weak me, and I loved her deeply, feeling truly happy. Every payday, I'd buy flowers for her on my way home. On that day, I planned to buy, though cliché, red roses. That's when I saw her, walking arm in arm with a man I didn't recognize. I was in shock. Why my wife? The direction they were heading led straight to the hotel district. I blanked out, and before I knew it, I was confronting my wife. And guess what she said to me? "Don't get in the way of my fun, you useless ATM." The coldness in her voice was piercing. She never really loved me. I was just a money machine to her, always buying her gifts. She saw me as nothing more than a tool. It was a huge shock to me. While I had to do alimony and divorce settlement and all that stuff, but it was too mentally hard on me, so I just abandoned everything. My wife divorced me and went off with a new guy, without any regrets. From there, my life spiraled downward. I stayed home, living an unhealthy life. Got fired from my job for not showing up. Couldn't pay the rent, and my parents, who were my guarantors, got notified. Seeing how broken I was, my parents decided to distract me by getting me a job at a small printing company they knew. And today's my first day. Of course, I'd sigh, right? Well, I knew I couldn't keep hiding away. It was not exactly the company I'd have chosen. And to return to my hometown under such circumstances. But it was my fault for leaving my previous job so recklessly. I had no choice but to accept it. "Excuse me, I'm starting work here today. My name's Bob." With a shift in my mindset, I entered the company. I'd been here once before, for an interview, since the CEO is friend of my dad. The first floor is an office and a workshop, while the second deals with data management for the print materials. When I came before, it was a day off and only the CEO was around, but today there are a few office staff, which is comforting. Bob, right, the boss told me about you. Wait, Catherine, I blurted out in surprise. The office lady who came to show me around was a classmate of mine. We were close friends from elementary through middle school. You startled me. It's been ages, Bob. You too. I had no idea you worked here. I was so shocked I forgot my manners for a moment and quickly cleared my throat. Seeing that, Catherine exclaimed, "Oh," and after a brief pause said, "Bob, the CEO is waiting for you. I'll show you in." "Thanks," I replied. While getting back to a professional demeanor, Catherine led me to the CEO's office. Inside, my heart was racing so fast I thought it might jump out of my mouth. After all, Catherine was my first love. As I mentioned earlier, Catherine and I are childhood friends. Rather than seeing each other as the opposite gender, we had been friends for the longest time. So, we spent a lot of time together, but I never confessed my feelings, not wanting to ruin our relationship. You know, being in middle school is such a sensitive time. It's hard to put things into words. I really wanted to confess my feelings on our graduation day, but I didn't have the courage, and in the end, I couldn't do it. Without any change, Catherine and I graduated from high school as friends, and eventually lost touch. In time, I married someone else but later got divorced. It's sad even thinking about it. Let's drop that topic. Anyway, I became single again and happened to meet my first love once more. It would be weird not to be thrilled, right? Catherine had always seemed mature even during our middle school days, but now she had completely blossomed into an attractive woman, especially in her office attire. Trying to clear my mind, I slapped my cheeks with both hands and entered the CEO's office. After greeting him, I found out I was assigned to the sales department. Coincidentally, a salesperson had just left, and since my previous job was also in sales, that became the reason for my placement. The company is a rather small-scale printing business, with 2 in administration, 3 in sales, and 5 handling the actual printing. Catherine had shifted from sales to administrative assistant, but she also oversees sales operations. So, she's basically my boss. However, regardless of our positions, all employees get along well. They even organized a welcome party for me right away. Well, let's hope Bob does a great job for us. Cheers. They hosted the welcome party at a local bar, with a few from sales, administration, and some from the printing department joining in. Some couldn't join because of work or family matters, but I was just happy to have a party in my honor. Embarrassingly, I had become quite introverted and hadn't socialized in a long time, so this was a refreshing change. Oh, Catherine and Bob went to the same middle school. Yes, Bob has always been handy and has a knack for gardening. With alcohol loosening tongues, everyone was pretty chatty, especially Catherine, who seemed to be drinking at quite a pace. I only knew her up until middle school, but she might be quite the drinker. Hey Bob, are you still taking care of Spike? Spike? Yeah, it's the name of a cactus I've been growing for years. Catherine named it. I've always liked houseplants, frequently buying different kinds. It started with cactus, then succulents, banyan trees, and the collection just kept growing. It was surprising that Catherine remembered Spike. Maybe she had a special attachment, or maybe it was the alcohol talking. But it was fun for me, because it gave us a chance to talk about the old days. But then... Darn, she's completely drunk. Catherine had had too much to drink and passed out. And it was just after everyone had left. If she passed out before everyone left, a couple of guys could have helped me get her into a cab. Now, everyone was gone. What should I do? I can hail a cab, but I don't even know where Catherine lives now. Catherine seemed peacefully asleep, but I couldn't just leave her like that. I considered taking her to a hotel, but it's a bit far and I don't have enough money on me right now. My place is just a 5-minute walk from here. It's a good thing the CEO was kind enough to get a place near my house. I told myself this was an emergency situation and decided to carry Catherine home. Honestly, I felt trapped and I was exhausted, so I really wanted to get home. Of course, I laid Catherine down in the bed while I relaxed on the living room couch. I can't sleep when I've had alcohol, so I was just watching late-night TV. Where am I? It must have been about 3 hours later. Catherine woke up in the middle of the night. Well, of course, she'd wake up if she found herself in an unfamiliar place. I gave her a little wave. Morning, you passed out hard, so I brought you to my place. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Catherine still looked sleepy. After drinking that much, it made sense. I asked, want to sleep a bit more, but Catherine started to slowly walk over and, for some reason, sat down next to me on the couch, and then leaned on my shoulder. This made me really nervous, but Catherine seemed very relaxed. It reminds me of old times. The old times. Remember I used to visit your place a lot. Oh, you came to see Spike, right? Back then, Catherine lived in an apartment and couldn't do much gardening. She really loved the cactus I was growing. Now, it's just a nostalgic memory. Well, that was half a lie. A lie. Yeah, I just wanted an excuse to visit your house. Hearing this made my heart skip a beat. Drunk and flushed, Catherine looked up at me. I liked you, Bob, but I was scared to tell you. I've regretted not confessing at graduation so many times. I never thought we'd meet again after you moved away. Then, Catherine sat up and turned to face me. When I realized you were next to me, I got so happy and drank too much. Sorry for causing trouble. Catherine. Haha, what am I even saying while drunk? Such things should be said sober. She looked down, seeming embarrassed. If asked whether this was something she should say while drunk, it'd be a hard call. But hearing about her feelings made me really happy. You know, for the record, I liked you too. Huh. But as teenagers, it's hard to be straightforward with feelings, right? I had regrets too, but now things are different. I averted my gaze. Both of us have grown up and changed. It's hard to like someone just because they were there for you like that old days. And we haven't seen each other for almost 10 years. Values change, and the dynamics of our conversations might be different now. And I still have the scars from being dumped by my ex-wife. It's hard for me to be open to a new relationship right now. I was actually dumped hard by my ex. To be honest, I'm finding it hard to trust women, but I want to trust you, Catherine. I don't doubt your feelings, and I don't deny them. I just need some time. We've been apart for so long, and we've both changed. When I can truly believe in my feelings for you, maybe then I can tell you the words I couldn't at graduation. That was the most I could say for now. I like Catherine, and I want to be by her side. But I'm sure the hole in my heart will get in the way of my feelings for Catherine. I still can't respond right away. It's pathetic, really. While I was thinking this, I'm happy. Catherine started to cry. I knew about it, Bob. I heard the CEO talking about how you were married. I know you're not the type to move on to another woman so soon. I'll wait, no matter how long, forever and ever, because I've been waiting all this time. Catherine said that and cried like a child. She has been waiting for me all this time. With that thought, I teared up and quickly wiped away a tear. The next day, after all that crying, Catherine woke up past noon. Well, I slept in till around the same time. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Want something to eat? Yeah, I'm hungry. Chatting like a married couple, Catherine started exploring my room, which she probably hadn't seen before. But since I just moved after my divorce, there's nothing particularly interesting. However, Catherine immediately exclaimed, "Oh, it's Spike." She noticed Spike, the cactus, by the window, and her eyes lit up. I've had Spike longer than I was with my ex-wife. To me, Spike is like family, but Catherine looked at him and tilted her head, saying, "Was he this big?" Cactus grow slowly, but if you've been raising one for years, it does get bigger. Especially since Catherine hadn't seen Spike in over 10 years. It's no wonder she finds him bigger now. Want a touch? Really? Won't it hurt? It's fine, it won't hurt. With that, Catherine gently touched Spike. I bet Spike never expected to see Catherine again. Even though she jokingly half-lied about it, Catherine really did care for Spike. As a result, "Bob, I'm here again." Somehow, she started visiting my room twice a week to see Spike. Not just Spike, she's also curious about my other succulents and banyan trees. I was truly surprised. She's so different from the assertive woman at work. Because she barges in like that, I've lost my peace. Lately, Catherine's almost living with me. If this goes on for another 6 months, I'll have to make up my mind. Hey, Catherine. What? I want you to marry me. With that, Catherine smiled happily, but that's not how. What? I totally didn't see that rejection coming. You promised to say the words you couldn't at our graduation, remember? Did you think back then that you wanted to marry me? Catherine said with a grin. She really knows everything. I really can't compete with her. I turned to face Catherine again. And then, I finally told her the words I couldn't say back then. I love you. How was that? Subscribing to the channel really motivates us to create more content. See you in the next video.